Welcome to the Self Love Uncensored Podcast. We are your hosts. I am Vanessa McWilliams.
And I'm Amanda Wozni.
And we are self-proclaimed experts in all things self-love.
Here you'll find uncensored discussions about life, living unapologetically, and becoming our best selves. Welcome to episode 17. Is that what we said before?
17.
Forgot. Short-term memory.
Oh, doesn't it just go along with our week?
Mom brain.
100%. 100%. Yeah, it's been a week. I don't know how to explain it. It's just when we were talking, when did we talk? On Tuesday? Wednesday, trying to plan for a recording.
I mean, what day is it? Friday?
I know.
It's the end of the school year, so it's like just like a warp speed right now with everything that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Do your kids have different days that they're done school?
No, I think they're actually all done next Friday, all at the same time.
Crazy. We got a schedule that my youngest is like pissed because my oldest is in junior high. And so he only has to go Monday, Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are just catch up days. So if there's anything that they have outstanding that they can go in for just the morning, right? Well, the elementary kid, so my youngest, he has to go till Friday full days. So he is like, he is mad. So I'm trying to think trying to justify it in my mind. Can I just let him stay home on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Like, what's the big deal, right? They're not learning really anything. But then I remember being in school. Like, I need my time.
Yeah, right. I know.
I love you, but I love you more when you're not with me all day, driving each other crazy.
Yep. My middle son wanted to get picked up early today because my youngest is in kindergarten, so he does half days. Mm-hmm. And so he wanted to get picked up. It's like 11:20 when I pick him up, and he's normally done like just after 3. Yep. And I was like, okay, fine. And he sees us when we pick up his younger brother because he's not playing at that playground right there. Yeah. So of course he comes over for a kiss and a hug, and he's like, so are you picking me up? And I was like, yeah, I'll pick you up. And then literally this morning when I was at the gym, I was talking to her about it, and I was like, but I kind of don't want to, because this is like the last few days of like freedom. Then I'm like, however, when September comes, all 3 of my kids are in full day, all day, every day. And I'm like, so excited.
Right? I remember that. I remember counting down the days to grade 1. Yes. I remember the countdown to grade 1 too. When my youngest was going into grade 1, it was like, I always found having one in preschool or kindergarten was really hard because it's like, the 1 or 2 hours. Yeah, the 1 or 2 hours that you have that's free isn't really even enough time to go get like a good grocery shop done or something. Like it's just, it's bizarre.
I go to the gym. I got about 2.5 hours. I drop him off at like 20 after 8. And then I drive to the gym, and then I go back there for 11, and then he's out at 11:20.
I have the hiccups. That's not too bad then.
8 hours a day is going to be way better than that. I can't forget it.
Oh my gosh. I know. I'm super excited for summer. I'm super excited to like just be done with the school year this year. But on the flip side, I'm like, I'm really going to miss it because it's like structure. Even though it's been such a weird year, it's still been a little bit of structure for them. And so I
think that's why I'm excited for September, because I feel like it's like a renewed opportunity to really like get back to being aggressive. Cause like the whole last year and a half, let's be honest, and this totally relates to what we're going to talk about today. Like it's been just a royal fuck around for anything that you have, like, if you've made progress in the last year and a half, like significant progress, friggin' hats off to you, man. Cause it's like, it feels like 1 step forward, 18 steps backwards.
Totally. That's
like,
exactly
it's terrible.
How I feel.
Yeah.
I know. It's been,
and I feel like come September, I'm just so ready to just like go like a bat out of hell out of the gates and freaking take on the whole world and conquer it.
Totally.
So at the same time, it's like, okay, maybe I should just take the summer and chill, but it's like taking so much time over COVID to chill. It's like, when do you,
well, and I think there's a big difference between legitimately chilling and like forced chill. Cause I think because of all of COVID, like, even though we've taken, like, I know myself, I've taken a big step back and not pushing towards a lot of things that I had goals towards, but like, even though I don't know how to explain it, even though I've taken a step back, there's been so many things that have been still eating up all that brain capacity, like just the worry and the stress and stuff. Right. And even though I'm not a big person who worries, I really try and just focus on what I can control. It still eats up energy, right?
Well,
So
because
it's
if you're
like,
not actively working towards something purposeful and
yeah,
thinking about it, your brain is still going to occupy itself with something.
100%.
And like, we can't get away from the negativity and the toxicity of everything that's going on right now. So it's like, that's what you fall into.
Right. It's so hard. And that's the thing. It's like, even though we've been technically resting for 15 months, most people won't call it that, but that's what I call it. I think we've all been planted. Honestly, I think we've all been given an opportunity to take a step back and really figure out what's truly important to each of us. But even with that step back, I feel like I'm fucking tired. Like I still feel like it's been go, 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 even though it's been forced rest. But I think that's the difference for me, is true rest is different than forced rest.
Yeah.
Like I've kind of feel like I've been swimming against the current.
Like, yeah. We didn't make the choice to take this rest, which is what makes it so difficult, right?
Totally. So, yeah. If anybody out there's listening and you're feeling like, oh, I haven't done a whole lot, but I feel fucking tired, like, welcome to the club. That's so normal right now.
Yeah.
Like,
pretty much I would say whatever you did to get through the last 16 months is high five. Like,
totally.
If you made strides, great. If you went backwards, great. If you did nothing and you're in the same spot, great. Like, whatever the situation is, we kind of all had to figure out and navigate our own path through it and just make it to the other side.
Just survival. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And that's just it. And I think it, like you said, it kind of is the perfect intro to what we wanted to talk about today, because I think you and I are both a little familiar with the zone of comfort.
Yes.
Fucking sucks.
A little bit too familiar.
I hate the comfort zone. Well, and I was trying to think of, there was something else that happened this week, because off the coattails of what we talked about last week with like your Starbucks incident where you dumped your coffee at the gym. After creating that goal that you weren't going to drink Starbucks anymore, something like that happened to me this week. And I can't think of what it is, but when it happened, I was like, fuck, I got to text Amanda, because the same thing's happening to me. Like, it never fails. As soon as you set a goal, the universe is like, oh, what? I hear you.
Yeah.
Checkmate.
Now let me hit you in the face with a frying pan and see if you can still survive. I had that. And then since we talked the other day, I went out and I got all my groceries and I was going to meal prep. All my food in order. And it was like super, super, super fucking windy here, like 90+km/h gusts. And our fucking power went out for the 4-hour window that I had to be able to cook. And I was like, oh, Vanessa, you're not even going to believe what happened. Like,
when you texted me, I was like, oh my God, the universe knows that it can push us.
I know.
It isn't even like, and that's the thing. I feel like as you grow and as you get like better at doing the things and keeping your word to yourself, and like you've got the stronger integrity, like the universe hits you with bigger things. Like I remember little things when I first started doing this work, that it would be like, oh, my cell phone doesn't work, or, oh, the internet's down or something. Right. But there was like a different way you could still do the thing. And now I feel like you got to watch out for fucking blips when you put a goal out, because it's like the universe doesn't just give you little like knock, knock, knock. Right. We're getting taken out by like full blown blimps that are coming at us like 100K an hour, because it's crazy the shit that's happening, the two of us. It's nuts.
I know.
I don't know. So crazy.
Yeah. I haven't quite figured out the lesson. I mean, obviously it's partially meant to push us out of our comfort zone, which is what we want to talk about today. Force us to quit playing small. And like, part of me really wonders if, because we both thrive in that like in-person event kind of world, like we're both coaches, we're both part of the Transformation Weekend team, we're both like serial Transformation Weekend attendees, personal development, anything attendees, right? Like, and because we haven't had that, like we've been forced away from those places that really like light us on fire and create that passion and that purpose inside of us. So maybe the lesson is in learning how to create it for ourselves. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Rather than relying on that external force, other people, whatever it is about it. I mean, it's like the whole shebang, right? When you're there. Yeah. But it's also like, it doesn't matter how much you do this work. It doesn't get easier to know how to do all this stuff.
I know.
Like you said, just the difficulties they feel like they're more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I feel like the more you learn, the harder it is to do it on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like anybody can call me and it's so funny because people will call me and they'll ask for like advice, or they'll ask me for help or something, and it's like, oh, this, and they get results, right? But then it's like I have the same issues with myself, and I think to myself, okay, I got to coach myself, and then what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just so much harder when you're, and like I'm working on my integrity with myself, and you and I both have goals that we've set recently in the last couple of days that are new, just to kind of renew ourselves and, you know, keep ourselves held accountable and such. But yeah, it's hard when you're trying to coach yourself. Like I'm to the point now where I'm like, I need a coach, because it's so hard to do it for yourself. It's so much harder to have yourself tell yourself to do the things than have someone else do the things.
Like we're not getting to any of these places where we're seeing the people that normally as much as you don't want to rely on that external accountability, just knowing that you're going to go to an event at some point, right? Mm-hmm. And somebody's going to see, like if it was you and all of a sudden you showed back up with your hat on and I was there, I'd be like, the fuck are you doing? Right?
Totally.
But because we know subconsciously that that's not going to happen, right? Like we're not going to see the people that are going to ask us those questions.
Yeah.
We see people, but they're not going to say anything, or they don't even notice, right? They're not paying attention. But like for you and I to normally be in the same room at least once a year, and now we're not, right? Like it's like you feel like you can retreat a little bit because you're not going to just coincidentally run into those people at an event and they're going to wonder what the fuck you were not doing.
And no one's going to know if you don't do the thing.
No,
there's no one around. And that's just it. I think, and I'm such a human person. Like I thrive on humans. I love humans. Like you put me in a room at an event and I am home. Like I love it. I'm so extroverted that way. So not having that has been really tough for me this last 15 months. Like it's been really a very hard lesson for me to really, like you said before, be my own kind of cheering squad. But even then it's like, I don't even want the cheer. Like I want the energy. I want the human connection, right? Like that's the part of it that I really miss right now. And I think that's something that I hear a lot of people talk about, that they're missing human connection. So it's been an interesting lesson the last couple months, but I'm definitely ready. I'm definitely ready to like you said, come September. I'm even thinking beginning of July, but there again, it's like fucking comfort zone. What am I doing in July? Right? Like,
or what are you doing between now and July? That's still 12 days. Like, why are we waiting? Right?
Right. Exactly. Like, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do when we hang up this call? Like and that's the thing that I need to get really laser focused on, is like, okay, what's next? What have I been distracting myself with? But even saying that, like, we also have to be really mindful that we have to take into account the really small things that we've been doing, especially in the last 14, 15 months, because I think like even just for myself, I can only speak for myself, that I think in my mind, like, oh, I haven't done anything. I've just survived COVID. But in reality, it's like, but I did do a lot of things. Like my kids are happy, you know, bills are getting paid. I wrote a book. It's out in the world, hopefully going to get picked up by a publisher. Like there's lots of different things that I did do. I just feel like for whatever reason, maybe they're not big enough to be able to be like celebrated. It's fucking weird. Right.
Yeah.
But it's like to take that step back and really reflect on what we did do in 15 months. Like a lot of really great things did happen. I just have to celebrate those things and not feel like they're not worth celebrating.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's a downside of being the kind of person who not only coaches people to do it, but is for themselves, is that I actually was reading something about that today. I don't remember who posted it. It was great. And talks about like, are you the kind of person who hits a goal and is like, cool, what's next? Right? Like you barely even freaking touch the surface of it and you're already bounding on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Or are you the kind of person who celebrates things, but then there's the other side of the spectrum too, where you can celebrate way too hard on something and then you end up like sabotaging, right? Like, because you start to go backwards.
Totally.
So I think that's a downside of being a high achieving person. I know I'm like that, where I'll accomplish something and it's literally cool for like 30 seconds. And then you're just like, okay, what now? Like,
yeah. What's next?
What's next? Like,
yeah.
just like, let's go. Right. Just like vibrating and waiting for the next cool thing to happen or the next opportunity or the next way to level up. And
totally,
if you don't slow down and celebrate those things in some capacity, then what are you even doing it for?
Totally. And that's the thing, going at like chasing the dopamine hit for 30 seconds isn't.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like
for like months of work most of the time. Like we're not talking about like, I'm going to go run around the block and then reward myself with ice cream. It's like months and months and months and months and months of work. And then we accomplish something that took a couple minutes. And then we're like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, wait a minute. You just put like 200, 300, 400, 500 days into this thing. Like slow down a little bit, take it in. Like
that's exactly how I felt when I wrote my book. That it was like, okay, my book is read or my book is written. I got to send it off to the editor. It was with the editor. And it was like, I really have never sat down to celebrate the fact that I wrote a fucking book.
Yeah.
Like, and put it through the editing process. Like if someone came back today and said, no, you know, we're not going to publish it. We're not going to take it on. I could flip it and have it for sale in a week. Right. Like I have not stopped to celebrate that. I have in little ways, but I really don't think have given it as much celebration as I think I really need to, because I feel like I can't celebrate it until it's actually being
in
sold.
Your hand kind of thing.
Yeah. Like until I have my first sale, like there's nothing to celebrate. Right. And that's really fucked up. Like for me, that's really fucked up, but that's my whole thing with, I have to give myself credit, right? Like it's hard for me to celebrate myself. So that's the biggest thing is for me that I have to get used to.
We're like in a very like materialistic world now too. So if you don't have something tangible, if you don't have that actual book in your hand to say, I made this thing, right? It's on a computer, but like, it's not in front of your face. You're not going to pick up your computer and be like, look, people look at the book I wrote, right? Like it's, but if you had the actual book in your hand that had your face on the cover and your name on the cover and everything and your words inside of it, that would be a totally different feeling than just hitting save and then closing your computer kind of thing, right?
Totally.
Like that's very anticlimactic.
100%.
Very.
And we're done.
And we rest.
Right. And that's the thing. Like it's so hard to, I don't know why I have just like this idea in my mind that you have to celebrate the really big, gigantic things. I can hear a helicopter, or as my oldest son, when he was little, he used to call them happer dappers, circling above my house. So maybe the universe is listening and is like, we're going to fucking celebrate you. We're going to send you your very own helicopter. Woo! Go away from my house.
Or they're on the hunt for somebody.
I was going to say it is the police helicopter. So hopefully there's no one running around our yard. But yeah, like I think too, it's such a great lesson to remind ourselves, especially just with everything that's been happening the last couple of months, is like to slow down and really do celebrate the small things, because it is within the small things that you find true happiness and stuff, right? Like, I feel like when I get wrapped up in chasing the goal, I lose sight of the real purpose and like what life is really about. And it's not just about achieving all these big things. Like you have to have happiness along the way and fulfillment, or else it means nothing. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of where in the last couple of months I've gotten a little lost, is just, I've lost track of why I'm doing the things. I'm just worried about the how, right? And I'm worried about the end goal, and I'm not taking into account the journey to get there.
Yeah.
And that's got me, like we were talking about the comfort zone, that's got me fucking sucked right back into my comfort zone. I think like, I don't know. Fuck, look at us having our own counseling session live on podcast. We haven't known what our problem is for like a month, and now we get to talking. We're like, we're just gonna figure it all out live on our podcast.
Why not? Hey? No, what you just said made me think of a line from Tony Robbins that success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure.
Yes.
And I think that's why it's so important to learn how to celebrate whatever you are accomplishing, or even being at X point along your goal. Maybe you marked the halfway point or something. Cool. Celebrate that. Right. And celebration is going to look different for everybody and everything. Totally. totally different between goals and between people and everything. But yeah, maybe that's the piece we're missing, Vanessa.
Maybe we need to celebrate ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what I'm going to use.
Vanessa has TikToks running through her head right
now. I know. I totally do. Want to hear something super funny? So this morning I was doing TikToks, just content stuff. And there's one TikTok that I had to put a bathing suit bottom over top of my sweatpants. And my phone rang and I answered my phone or whatever. And I'm talking to my friend. And then I had someone come to my door and
forgot.
I totally fucking forgot. I closed the door. He was just a guy coming around offering lawn care services. I closed the door and I was like, why do I have such a fucking wedgie? And I went to pick my wedgie and I realized I was wearing my bikini bottoms over my sweatpants, and the guy never even looked down. He was staring at me.
It was in his peripherals and he was like, maintain eye contact.
The fuck is wrong with this girl? Oh my God. I forgot. It just, day in the life of me. Yeah. Content creation. Yeah. I told it. I'm so glad
you got to recreate that now with your neighbor or something.
I totally didn't realize it till after I closed the door and I was like, why is my underwear so tight? And then I felt bathing suit bottoms and oh my God, I could have died. I could have died. So bad. I should almost call the company and sign up with him just because he stood there with a straight
He's probably like, I don't want to go back to that lady's house.
Yeah.
And they probably look like underwear too.
They do. They're black and white and striped.
Oh my good God.
It hurts so bad from that boxing workout that this.
I needed that laugh. That was great.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've never been so mortified in my entire life. Now I'm gonna have to do the underwear check before I open the door any other time I'm doing recordings for
you got to make that. You totally got to recreate that, or even just with your husband.
You're welcome.
Would you like your lawn narrated?
No, I don't. I have underwear.
That's why I wear my pants under, because my lawn's out of control.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
My stomach hurts so bad. Oh my God. I did a boxing class with friends
things outside
2 days
your comfort
ago.
zone. So that was good.
I did a very out of my comfort zone boxing class, and my from my belly button up, I almost didn't put pants on this morning because I couldn't bend over and stand up.
But then she put pants on and swimming shorts. She was so sore she could barely get the pants on, but we had the underwear over top.
100%. Yeah. Oh God. So I'm suffering today. My body is very sore, but that made that laugh, I think, loosened everything up a little bit.
That's too
so
funny.
Embarrassing.
Well, I think your boxing thing brings up a good point though, about comfort zone, right? That's a great way to bust out of your comfort zone, is doing something new. And it doesn't have to be something complicated, and it doesn't have to be something expensive. There is a shit ton of free intro one-time things for fitness and art classes and all sorts of different things, right? And if nothing else, even if you don't enjoy the thing you do, maybe you'll meet somebody new. So I think it's really awesome that you did that, and that you were willing to go out and try something new, even though I think you wanted to bail last second the other day. You're like, I don't know if I want to go. But then I was really scary. You should go. What if nothing else? Maybe you'll meet a client there. Yeah. Have another weird conversation with a lady about your horse or something.
Right? That was so bizarre. Oh my gosh, that was so bizarre. Well, and that's just it. And for me, I like predictability a little bit. I like uncertainty, but I also like certainty. So when I'm going into especially when I'm going in vulnerable around something that I don't work out consistently. I don't enjoy working out a whole lot. So for me to go to a workout class, it was a big deal for me to go, and I ended up loving it. I guess I'm really good at boxing. So the guy told me I have some pent up aggression. So
yeah.
it was fun to hit shit, but
Vanessa's really good at hugging and hitting shit. You just don't know which one you'll get.
Yeah. You just want to be on the hugging part of me. Yeah. Yeah. I had some pent up aggression. I went like full out and I knew when I was leaving, like that was I was sweating. I need to buy one of those sweatband things. Cause it was like, you don't have appreciation for hair until you don't have it. Cause your hair,
all that stuff. Oh
yes. Cause as soon as I start sweating,
it has a purpose.
It goes all down my face like a faucet and it gets in your eyes and it stings. Oh, it stings. I think half my workout was me just trying to wipe, and I had boxing gloves on, like the wraps or whatever. So I couldn't even wipe my head with my hands. So I'm like trying to wipe it with my arms.
Somebody towel my head.
Totally. I was like, oh my God, leaving body marks and head prints all over the mats. It was good. But yeah, it was hard to go. Like I didn't really know what to expect. And I think that's the part that freaked me out. But when I was done, I felt really good. Like I was more proud of myself for showing up than I was the actual workout. But yesterday when I woke up, I was like, oh my God, kill me now. I'm so sore. And then today I couldn't put on my underwear. So, but tomorrow I'll feel better. And I did buy a punching bag. So I'm going to keep doing it. So there is hope, but I think though, like you're right with the comfort zone stuff. You and me were talking about this before we hit play. Like typically people fall into two different categories when we're talking comfort zone. There's one category of people who will start something new and they'll see it through to like 90% done. And then all of a sudden they get scared of the result and they self-sabotage, right? Like they drive themselves off the rails and they don't complete the thing. And then there's people who just get worked up and are afraid of failure and afraid of all the things. And they just don't even start because they work up. They're looking at the mountain. They're not looking at the small little itty bitty bites of just starting to do the small things to get you to where the mountain is. Right. And they burn it down before they even start. And you and me, I think, are both, we fall into the get 95 or get 90% there. And then we don't just self-sabotage. We light our whole fucking train on fire and drive it off the bridge right before we hit success. Burn that shit down. Yeah. And
fear of success.
It totally is fear of success. And for me, it is
the most ridiculous. The first time I heard that, I was like, what are you talking? Who is scared of success? Right. I'm scared of failure. And it's like, no, now that I know more about myself, it's
but they're the same thing. Fear of success and fear of failure is the exact same thing.
Well,
because when you're scared of success, you're scared of somehow like waiting for the hammer to drop. Like, how am I going to fuck this up? For me, it's definitely like, and that's the thing when someone says like, I'm afraid of success, it's really deep rooted in I'm afraid I'm going to fuck this up. Yeah. Right. And that's definitely for me a thing. Like, if I get really big, how am I going to handle this? I don't even let my brain go to like, oh, that's when I'll hire an assistant and I'll hire a so-and-so that's going to deal with that. I think of myself as like Medusa with 10 different arms going on 10 different laptops, trying to do all the different things. Right. And then I'm like, I can't handle this. And I throw shit in the air and I burn my fucking train down. Right. Like, I don't know. But
I'm more the kind of person that's like, I'm scared of success because if and when I obtain it, it'll mean that this entire time I was wrong about myself. Oh. That like the things that kept me playing small and stuck where I was, like the limiting beliefs that I had about myself, were totally untrue. And I was completely in control of fabricating those too. Right. Like, and I don't like to be wrong. Like I hate being wrong. So if now I'm successful and I accomplish the things that are like big, audacious goals, that means the whole time that I thought I couldn't do it, I was wrong.
That little itty bitty shitty committee in your brain, little assholes. Hey, it's so fascinating though, to like have this conversation with people, because I feel like sometimes when you do the self-development work and you start overcoming a lot of these thoughts and these feelings and stuff, that like you almost feel like you shouldn't worry about them anymore. It's like, oh, I've been dealing with this. Like for me, I've been dealing with this for almost 12 years. And it's like, I should be over this by now, but it never fucking goes away. It just, you have to get better at quieting it. But I think the farther you get in your journey, the louder that those things get. So it's like you have, and that's where I feel like I am right now is I feel like I'm back at where, you know, the itty bitty shitty committee in the back of my mind that's afraid of success and afraid of failure is just as loud as like it's raised the bar and it's coming closer to where my overpowering thoughts are, right? To like overpower them.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm struggling right now is it's like it almost puts me in a state of fear where I don't want that to win.
Yeah.
So now, and I've got to shift myself back into love. So it's trying to figure out
operating from a place of fear. You'll never get to where you want to go.
Oh, that's total comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you're in a fear-based thinking pattern, you're totally comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's 100%. And that's the thing is I got to shift myself back into the state of love, and I know how to do it. Not a problem, but it's staying there, right? Like, not swinging back into the comfort zone as often as I have been. But there again, it's been hard because of the 15 months of just so much uncertainty and stuff. It's like, it's tough. It's really tough. So if you've survived the last 15 months, you've done fucking amazing. Just surviving without doing anything has been amazing. So
and now that things are opening back up, I would definitely challenge people if they feel like they're stuck in their comfort zone and stuck in playing small and everything. Like now's the perfect time to dive into something new. Get out there and support these businesses that have been closed repeatedly and are lots of them on the brink of not opening again. So get out there and find something cool and do some new things with some new people and see where it takes you, because that one step might be all you need.
Well, and on the flip side, if you are feeling burnt out just from everything that's been happening, don't beat yourself up thinking like, oh, I've had 15 months of forced rest. It hasn't really been rest. No. There's been a lot of shit. It's been a lot of stress. Like that's mental stress. That's worse than physical stress, right? So if you're coming out of this and you're thinking, you know, like I just don't have it, but you're beating yourself up because you think I've had all this rest. Why am I feeling so burnt out? You haven't been resting. So, you know, take a couple months to, once everything opens up, to really actually rest, fill your heart with the things, you know, fill your life with the things you love to do, see the people you need to see, like build that back up before you start going for a goal. But if you're itching for it, then get at her 100%. Now's the time to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And if you need help with that, you know how to, you know, reach out to Amanda and I, because that's something that we both do. Like I said before, it's so much harder for us to do it for ourselves, but when we're able to help other people, it comes really easily for the two of us. So if that's something you're struggling with, reach out to one of us at any time. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
Do
you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's about it. Just
I love it.
Push your comfort zone this week, everybody. Find something to do a little bit.
Absolutely.
Even if you're not ready to get out into the world, you can find something to do at home or whatever it is. And if you discover something cool within yourself or some new people or something you love, let us know. We'd love to hear about it.
Absolutely. 100%. All right, my dear.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening. You guys all know what to do. Subscribe, download, leave reviews, leave us stars, all that kind of stuff. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you ever have questions or want to reach out to us, and we are still looking for guests, you can email us anytime at selfloveuncensored@gmail.com.
Love it. Have a fantastic day.
You too. Bye everyone.